Hello community, come! You see, it appears I have stumbled upon a secret treasure, a Hitman map that is yet to be discovered. It has this big ass jungle, very similar to the one from Santa Fortuna. It's also got a lot of interiors with huts and houses, similar to Mumbai, and a lot of wetland with tall grass, kinda like Haven Island. Now, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. I could have sworn I've seen that somewhere.
Just one more thing I want to share before the end of the show. We have promised that there's more to come later this year, so here's the first look at something we're working on for later in year 2. Agent 47 just doesn't stop traveling.
Turns out this is no secret map, but in fact Ambrose Island, Hitman's latest map added in the middle of 2022. Funny, I made a poll recently where I asked you guys which Hitman map happened to be your personal favorite, and I saw everything you could imagine, from super popular maps like Miami, Sapienza and Berlin, all the way to Colorado and Marrakesh. But out of the 115 comments at the time of recording, only one person has even mentioned Ambrose Island. Clearly, this map, for whatever reason, hasn't quite made the impact it should have. Why? Well, let's first take a look at what even makes a map to begin with. In Hitman, we have 3 types of maps. We have fortresses. Prime example would be Dubai, Dartmoor, Bangkok, Paris and the Bank, just to name a few. These are maps that are more focused on interior settings, usually a tower or a building that you need to scale up and down exploring. Then we have open world styled maps. Great example would be Sapienza, Whittleton Creek, Marrakesh, Santa Fortuna, Mendoza, Haven Island, and etc. These are maps that are a lot more open world based, meaning you'll be spending the majority of your time outdoors as opposed to in interior settings. And then finally we have the mixed variations. These are maps that will provide both an open world environment with a small fortress present at the same time. It's a combination of the two formulas as an attempt to give you the best of both worlds. Clear example are maps such as Miami, Berlin, Mumbai, Chongqing, and Niles Gale. Now obviously, Ambrose Island is more so an open world style map. There's no fortress present for you to scale, instead focusing all of your attention on the outdoor exploration. Of course, with that style of a map, there are some picadillos. Hiding bodies will be a lot more tricky, as an open world map will not give you as many containers as an interior one, meaning most of the time you need to look for bushes and tall grass instead. It means getting spotted is a little bit easier, as you don't have the safety of interior walls to cover your tracks. However, that doesn't usually prevent players from replaying and falling in love with them. Some of Hitman's most popular maps are created in this style, so why is Ambrose Island not one of them? We have to ask the question, is the map that bad? Well, let's take a look and find out. This is what the map looks like from above. It's kind of dark, I mean it is a nighttime map, so let's light it up to show you better. Now, let's show you the main trespassing territories. There we go. Now, of course, though the whole map is important, freedom of approach really counts the most when it comes to trespassing areas, because the rest of the map is completely free for you to explore to your heart's desire with no risk whatsoever. I mean, sure, individual huts and houses will be trespassing territories, but that's to be expected. However, like I said earlier, the most important part of Hitman maps isn't freedom of approach for the open areas, but the trespassing ones, as they are the ones you'll be taking risks to infiltrate. So, let's see by breaking them down, starting with the Pirate's Den. Now, as you can see on the legend, I've colored the approaches possible based on the level of risk you'll be facing. Just taking a quick glance, it's obvious we have 4 different safe approaches, all leading into the pirates' territory, but let's look at them individually. On the very far left we have our first infiltration point, which is under the bridge. Not the fastest way to get through, but certainly one of the safest. Right above it, we have another approach from the bridge itself, but that is guarded by 2 henchmen, so it's probably best to avoid. Right next to it, we see 2 additional approaches. We have an entry door that's once again guarded by the pirates, but right next to it we have a vault opportunity that allows us to climb right over the fence. Even when doing it in front of their face, they won't fully spot us, so it's safe to say it's rather safe. If we were to head over to the center of the map instead, we will see the restaurant area. If we climb to the rooftop, we will be able to run over and vault to the pirates' private bar, where, as long as we hug the wall, we can grab a free crowbar and make our way into the compound once again. Your main risk here is Akka and her bodyguard. They are the only people capable of catching you, so look out for them. However, we are not done here. If we were to make our way to the other end of the island, near the beach area, we will find a fence we can leap over, once again making our way into the compound. I mean, count it. That's 4 unique different infiltration points for the compound area. All relatively safe, all easily doable in suit only. I mean, how many maps can you name that have this many possibilities for their restricted areas? But wait, there's more. Why stop at the overall compound? Let's look at the main hostile area, the one surrounded by fences and guards. Well, we have 2 door entries, both with a guard in front of them and NPCs looking towards them. It's very obvious these aren't the best infiltration points, so let's look for alternatives. On the left side we will find 2 entries, 1 door and 1 window. The door can be opened with both a crowbar and a lockpick, while the window is exclusively opened with a crowbar. No problem, since the bar we just went through has a crowbar present there. There's 2 entry points right next to one another, but if you for whatever reason don't want to use them, you can just make your way to the alley next to them and run your way around to the back door. There will be a camera present as well as a locked door, but since you have a crowbar on you, that shouldn't be a problem. Plus, even if you didn't, you can always pick up a guard to come investigate and sneak in after he opens the gate. And what if you infiltrated from the beach area? In that case, you just make your way through the bushes and find your way to the workers' station, where, with just a little patience, you can hop through a hole in the gate and waltz right in. Once inside, you will find a crowbar on your left, right next to the entry. And I haven't even mentioned the shortcut from the water. We have 4 different entry points into the compound and then an additional 4 entry points into the main zone. All easily doable with both disguises and suit only. With disguises, that number increases even more. Also, let me not forget the camera room, which is right under Akka's office, allowing you to hid the evidence without even having to enter the room. I think it's pretty obvious that freedom of approach is not an issue here. You have many variations to make your way both into the general compound as well as the den itself. So let's take a look over at the ruins. Maybe that's where the problem lies. Once again, it is rather dark. You almost can't see anything on this map, it's so dark. Let's light it up a bit, shall we? Now, let's mark out the trespassing areas. Now, with the legend present, let's mark out all of the available entries. The first entry point is not far from our starting location. We just need to turn left and keep going. However, it has 2 guards patrolling right in front of it. Probably not the best entry point, especially because we have a much better one right next to it. If we were to run around the stairs, we will find a vine. We can easily climb it to infiltrate the area, putting us right behind those 2 mercenaries and with a clean view towards the kitchen area. As you can see, there is another red entry point on the far left of the map. That one is coming from the caves, and we will discuss and showcase it in just a little bit. From there, we're gonna look towards the cave entrance. This will be our main entrance towards the cave portion of the map. But we'll look into that in just a little bit. If we were to go in immediately and take a right, we will find our way onto a staircase. Now, there will be 2 guards patrolling back and forth from the kitchen area to the beginning of the steps. But you don't have to worry about it, as you're not technically trespassing until you're on the very top step. Once present, you have 4 different options. If you go for hard options, going straight will lead you to the kitchen area, while going behind the stationary guard will lead you to the caves. Both of these options are extremely risky, so they're not the most advisable. On the other hand, if you were to go right, you will find your way to the ruins, where again you will have 2 options. You can climb up if you want to be to the top portion of the ruins, or you can vote your way from the side, where you'll see an opening for the underground portion of the ruins. A great place to catch Orson, if he's one of your objectives, as he will visit that place quite often and there's only 2 guards patrolling, 1 stationary and 1 roaming. You should look out for them, but you do have a lot of cover as well as containers nearby, so it's rather simple. Of course, our final entry point happens to be from the bridge, and this one is a little tricky when it comes to its timing. You will have guards roaming back and forth. You must make sure they don't spot you crossing too far. With a little bit of patience, this entry is quite doable, and it will give you an easy route to both the upstairs and downstairs ruins location. With 4 different infiltration points, it's clear the ruins are hardly a bad place to visit either, but of course we can't fully complete this territory without taking a look at the caves below. Now for the caves down below, let's take this entry as our main one, the one we'll be using as our reference. Trust me, it will make things a lot easier to understand. Of course, to the right we already know we have the stairs that lead to the upstairs ruins. But we already covered that. Let's focus on exploring the caves themselves. Once you get in, if you were to go left, it will lead you towards a door. Once you make your way through that door, you can climb upstairs and it will take you directly to the kitchen area of the ruins. This is the arrow I showed you earlier for the ruins, and it can lead you to them as well as back. If you were to head to the right instead, hug the wall, you will see stairs. Going up and following them, they will lead you to the single guard and the 2 patrolling ones from the ruins earlier. Go a little forward and you'll see a door. Here, if you have a crowbar or a lockpick, you can unlock the door, which will lead you to the shortcut. That shortcut will go directly to the underground portion of the ruins. However, if we were to go right, while hugging the wall, it will lead us to another exit. This exit will have a guard looking through binoculars at the open sea. Many may think this is a dead end, but that's not true. If you were to turn around and go to the wall, you will see vines hanging from it. You can climb those vines to head upstairs to the ruins area. All said, the caves have 4 different roads, all leading to different locations. One will be your main entry/exit point, left will lead you to the ruins kitchen, right will lead you to the guards upstairs with the shortcut to the underground ruins, and the far right one will lead you ultimately to the main floor of the ruins upstairs. It's fair to say that traversal isn't a weakness for this map. You have so many different ways to reach so many different places, it's almost overwhelming. In many ways, I feel Ambrose Island is the Mumbai of Hitman 3, a map that at first sight seems very convoluted and difficult, but if you actually spend some time on it, you will find that it's not only that difficult, but also very enjoyable and entertaining. Don't get me wrong, there is a skill curve here, but man, spend some time and I promise you, this will quickly become one of your all-time favorite maps. Especially if you play Freelancer, this map is so great for that. This map has 3 poisonous frogs and 3 emetic flowers. However, there is a guy you can visit at the shrine who will turn emetic frogs into emetic gas grenades and poisonous flowers into lethal vials. Not to mention, you also have 2 emetic rat poisons as well. All the items you need are found at easy and simple locations. Everything is well put together, exactly where you may need it. Some people may not like the visual concept of the map, being very much a reused asset flip of Fortuna and Mumbai, but when it comes to core gameplay, you have nothing to complain about. So obviously, if the gameplay of the map is not the problem here, what else could it be? Maybe it's the targets? Well, let's take a quick look into the targets and figure that out. Both the regular ones as well as Freelancer. Let's first take a look at Akka. Her first order of business is to make her way upstairs and take a drink from her glass of whiskey. a very clear and obvious poison opportunity. And if there's one thing this map has plenty of, that's poison. From there, she would take a sit in her office chair and talk with her crew while smoking a cigar. If you happen to throw a propane flask near the chair, it would be her final one. Once she's finished at her office, she will start heading downstairs. Here, if you've cleaned out the 2 guards that are patrolling, there's a very easy isolation opportunity present. Once she reaches the door, you will find an oil barrel. A coin placement plus a bullet will light her up on fire. Though do make sure to get rid of the guard in front of the gate if you wish to keep your silent assassin. Eventually, she will make her way outside of the trespassing area over to the upstairs restaurant level, where she will cross the path of another oil canister. Once she makes it there, it will be your only chance to get a hold of her if you don't wish to trespass yourself. She will also smoke a cigar there, so if you have a propane flask, the trick will also work as well. Once finished, she will make her way back to the bar, where once again she will take a drink from a glass of whiskey, giving you another poison opportunity. Though if you're not wearing a disguise, it will cost you a few coins to get it done. Clearly, she has a bit of a drinking and smoking problem. Anyways, from there, she will head into the hostage room to interrogate Agent Smith, a very clean and easy isolation opportunity for you to sneak in and take her out. But you can also let him and the other hostage free and then turn on both of the water pipes as well as the electricity for the floor when she arrives. She will check the empty cells, and when she goes inside, she will be electrocuted. From here, she heads outside to smoke a cigar. Again, if you've taken down the guards outside, this is an extremely easy isolation opportunity, as well as a chance for a propane flask explosion once again. Her final location is the evidence room underneath her office, where she will talk to her guards for a bit before ultimately making her way back upstairs to drink whiskey and restart the loop. Clearly, there's no lack of ways to take her out in her general loop, but you also have some luring opportunities as well. If you turn on the radio tower signal, it will call a meeting. That will give you an easy opportunity to either poison her or at least isolate her, as well as Nolan. If you show a picture of Lance Xu, who is the prisoner in the ruins, she will lure Nolan into the cliffs, where she will kick him out and light a cigar. If you sabotage the canister behind her, it will explode, causing both your targets to be taken down from distance. Overall, this chick has no shortages of ways to be taken care of. Every move she makes, every place she stops, there's an opportunity for you to use and take advantage of. Because she hangs out in mostly trespassing areas, she's quite vulnerable to being isolated. Nolan Crest, on the other hand, will start his loop near the slap fighting arena and will not move from there until you physically approach him. Your first and easiest way to take him down from the first location is to go behind the containers and sabotage an oil drum. Then enter the slap fighting competition. Given Agent 47's exceptional superhuman strength, it shouldn't take long. Smacking the heads of his guards will impress him enough to have a meeting with you. He'll go into the same area where he'll light up a cigar, and once you finish talking, he'll throw it on the ground, lighting himself on fire and ending the story. However, if you let him walk away, you'll be given the easiest and also hardest elimination opportunity. Easiest as in it's the fastest way to take him out, and hardest as it's kind of tricky to pull off. There's a lamp hanging above him. If you shoot it very precisely, right where he's walking through it, it will land directly on top of his head and take him down. If not, he will make his way over to the kitchen area, where he'll ask for his favorite chef. If you happen to wake that chef up and prepare the poisoned meal, he will sit down to eat. There's a medic poison in a hut very close, and if you choose it, he will make his way to the end of the shore, giving you a full isolation opportunity. You can also use a lethal variant if you can't be bothered to wait. If you decide not to awake that chef, however, he will instead go visit the boat repairing shop for the status of his engine. If you've played with it a bit, you can sabotage an oil drum and the engine, so when he starts it, it will once again end up in a fire. If you haven't, he will simply start making his way to the original beach location. There is an electrocution opportunity along the way as well. However, much like Akka, you could lure him into a meeting with the signal and you can lure him into the ruins by sabotaging the transponder, where you can easily sabotage a segment of the bridge if you want him to go for a quick swim into the ocean. Once again, this target lacks no diversity of ways to take him down. Because he hangs out in mostly open areas, he will be more vulnerable to accident kills rather than full-blown isolations. Of course, we will also have a third objective, which will either be sabotaging the satellite control unit in the caves, which is simple enough to do as long as you have a grip on where the guards are present, or collect the access keys. You need two of them. One will be on Akka, which is the main target. The other will be with Orson at the upstairs ruins. In an attempt to save some time, I won't go into his full route. Instead, I'll just show you the main weaknesses. He will eat a fish from the kitchen ruins area, as well as drink water while looking at the map on the upstairs ruins area, which makes him vulnerable to poisoning and an easy isolation. He will also make his way into the underground ruins to check on the prisoner Lance Xu. With only 2 guards present, easy isolation opportunity and containers to hide bodies, this is a fantastic place to catch him off. Overall, these 3 places will be your main opportunities to poison or isolate them. It will be up to you to choose which ones you like more. As far as Freelancer is concerned, here's my 2 cents on it. You can easily get away with playing Sure only, everywhere but the caves and the ruins area. There, I'll highly recommend bringing a disguise, as it's extremely easy to get caught or for something to simply go wrong. The best isolation places will be either the underground ruins or the pirate's den. Avoid the upstairs ruins if you can, as there's almost no safe places to hide bodies, and due to roaming guards, it's extremely easy to get caught. From my personal experience, targets tend to be quite diverse, but also fair. There's quite a few NPCs on this map, and all of them have a certain weakness, either an isolation or accident kill, if you look for it. Chances are you should be able to find something. So, if targets are not the problem for neither the main game nor Freelancer, and the gameplay of the map isn't either, then what else could it be? Is the map held back by mediocre mastery unlocks? Well, let's check it out. So, here's the unlocks. First off is the Kirky Machete, and to say that this item is useless would be an understatement. You need a briefcase or agency pickup in order to bring it with you, as it's a giant melee item that cannot be hidden on your body. Not to mention, it has one of the slowest killing animations from anywhere but the back, and it's illegal during searches. Overall, you'd have to work hard to find anything more unoptimal, though our second unlock, the Brain Damaged SMG, surely can contest that. It cannot be brought through your pistol slot like the 2 silent SMGs, which also brings us to the fact that it's unsilenced, it's illegal during searches, and can only be brought through a briefcase or agency pickup. Not to mention, it's not even that good for shooting. Even when hitting headshots, it can refuse to be a one-shot kill. It's extremely inaccurate and has no upsides whatsoever. Our third unlock is the Hook, a regular lethal melee. It is legal to hold, and you can pass through searches with it, so that is a plus. It can also be thrown to destroy cameras and has a decently fast kill animation. Overall, this is not a bad unlock. Fourth unlock is the militia-issued HX-10 SMG. No silencer on it whatsoever. It can be rather inaccurate, and it runs out of bullets faster than a pickup truck runs out of gas. It's one of the worst SMGs of its class, and much like the Brain Damaged SMG, it's basically no good at all. Fifth unlock is the Bone Lockpick. It's just a goofy reskin of a lockpick, knowing that most of the lockpicks can be unlocked very early into most maps. It's hard to recommend this one that takes level 14 to do so. Our next unlock at level 17 is the Emetic Gas Grenade, one of the absolute best weapons in the game, up there with the Seeker and the Emetic Briefcase. Seeker is best for maps where you'll be given the cover necessary to use it. Emetic Briefcase is best for maps where you don't have cover but can easily get close to your targets enough so you can use it. And the Emetic Grenade is best in maps where you can't get close to your targets and you also need your pistol. The gas variation that this map unlocks is the best one, as it explodes directly on impact and it is also legal to hold. Overall, it's a great unlock. Next up, we have the Gorilla wetsuit, a reskin of Hog's base wetsuit. It's definitely underwhelming to see. I mean, Ayo already caught quite a bit of slack for the amount of reused assets Ambrose Island has, but to just go ahead and reskin an already existing outfit and then name it the main one for the map, that's just got lazy written all over it. I mean, it's not a bad outfit on its own, but people expected better. And the very last final item is the Molotov cocktail, an item that at release completely changed the game. It became the most overpowered weapon, capable of getting silent assassin kills through walls and roofs. People would just launch it at their targets and get easy kills left and right. Since then, it's been nerfed to be a shadow of its former self, becoming just a regular explosive item. Overall, the items are not great here, I'll admit it, but they are decent enough to be better than nothing. I really don't believe this is the sole reason for people not playing this map. We have to investigate further. What does Ambrose Island lack that the rest of Hitman maps seem to have? Well, actually, almost everything. Does it have cinematic immersive mission story like Alo's Gale and Mendoza? No. Ambrose Island doesn't have many mission stories outside of the meeting. There really isn't much going on this map. Is it a gorgeous eye candy that allows you to relax and enjoy looking at, similar to Sapienza and Miami? No, the map is quite dark and most of its environments are directly ripped from Fortuna and Mumbai, not the best looking maps either. Does it have a great atmosphere, similar to Berlin, or stunning visuals, similar to Chongqing? No, and I think that is the problem. Every map of the series tends to be quite unique for one reason or another. Ambrose Island just isn't. I mean, sure, it's a different map, but overall, when you think about the package, there's nothing here to sell it apart from the rest. It's just a generic island location, and I think that is the biggest problem of all. You could have asked 1,000 Hitman players about what location they would like as a DLC map, and none of them would answer a generic island in the middle of nowhere. I should know, I've made 2 videos about great maps we should have in the future, and many people have given their thoughts in the comments as well. Nobody has asked for a generic island map, and in general, people don't seem to like island-styled maps. I know, because in the poll that I made, I didn't see Haven Island mentioned as someone's favorite map either, and although the gameplay is shady, the visuals of Haven are far superior. I think it's really the concept of an island map that just doesn't appeal to players as much. There's nothing here that's really inspiring like an Isle of Gale, or something from day-to-day life like a Whittleton Creek, which is ultimately why I think it never caught on. It's a shame in my opinion, but it doesn't have to be. See, the map is fantastic when it comes to core gameplay, so for those of you looking to add a new map to your catalog, or a great gameplay map for Freelancer, look no further. Give Ambrose Island a try, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Until next time, this has been Wild Goat. Thank you very much for watching.